So we saw a lot of interesting tech in 2018, but I want to stop and take a look at the most unique pieces from the year. Starting with the Xbox One adaptive controller. Now, this to me is a game changer. No pun intended, but obviously guys, this is a really big deal. And for some of us who love gaming, it's kind of hard to imagine a life where you can't. So it's really awesome that Xbox created a controller that is made for folks with limited mobility to actually go ahead and be able to play games. And for everyone with limited mobility, their needs may be different, and that's what makes this thing special. This thing basically acts as a hub to a bunch of different inputs so that you can go ahead and customize this and have it adapt to the person who's using it. And over here we've got a few different inputs, a little switch. Over here we have a joystick with a couple of buttons, and we even have a foot pad. Now all of these can actually be put right in the back. There's a little headphone jack or 3.5mm input where you can just plug in all of the different spots, and then you're controlling a different part of the controller. And this is really cool because if someone has to use their chin or their shoulder to play a game, they're gonna be able to do that here. You can even have a foot pedal so that you can use your feet as well. There are tons of different options so that you can use different body parts to get involved in the game. And I just think Microsoft is doing an amazing job by doing things to make gaming more inclusive and accessible. And if you know someone who really loves gaming and could use something like this, be sure to follow me on social media. I'll have my Twitter and Instagram down below, and we might be able to give out one of these. So the Xbox One adaptive controller is easily one of the most unique things that we've seen this year, especially since you can completely customize it based on someone's needs. But let's move on to the next device. And this right here is one of the most unique laptops that I've gotten my hands on this year. And this is the HP Spectre Folio Convertible 13. And huge shout out to Intel for sponsoring today's video and actually putting this thing on my radar because I had no idea this existed. So this laptop is unique for a few different reasons. First being its body. It's got a leather case-like body, which is just really, really nice if you want to take this into the professional world. You want to go to work and you want to look nice and clean. You got something that's nice and slim, and with this leather profile, looks like you're just walking around with your portfolio or something. Now this thing is called a convertible because one, it can work in laptop mode, and there's also a straight up tablet mode where you can just bring it down like this, which is kind of cool. And if you just want to present or maybe watch something, you can also throw it in like this. Lots of different options to choose from. In a sleek design like this, you really can't beat that. But what makes this thing very unique in my opinion is a feature that I've only been introduced to pretty recently, and that's the inclusion of Intel's 7560 modem. And with this guy being able to have an 8th generation Core i7 processor and one of Intel's latest modems giving you the ability to connect anywhere, you get some crazy functionality out of this that you just don't get out of other laptops. For me, the most mind-blowing aspect of this is being able to travel and not rely on public Wi-Fi networks. I've been able to take this thing into a coffee shop or maybe just be on the road and go ahead and upload a video to YouTube, work on a video, and not have to worry about using my phone's data or anything like that. And on your commute home from work, you can throw this thing into tablet mode and you can just start watching something like Netflix, YouTube, and not have to worry about having downloaded it prior or jumping onto a public Wi-Fi in order to stream. This is just an awesome feature to have, and I just wish it was in every laptop. And if you guys want to get your hands on a laptop that's always connected like this one, all you got to do is head over to your local tech store and ask them for an Intel-based 4G LTE connected PC. But for me, this easily takes the spot for the most unique laptop of 2018 that I've seen. And next up guys, we've got the Oppo Find X. Now this guy is here for two reasons. One, that bezel-less display. It does have a slight chin, but it's pretty much bezel-less. And this camera. Now, I don't know if you guys caught that, but this camera has a motor that pops up and allows it to have this full screen display. Now for me, I think this was the most innovative design in hiding a camera and even unlocking the phone. You feel like James Bond. You want to pull it out, swipe it to unlock, checks your face and goes away. That thing is really, really cool. It having a motor may cause some issues in terms of the longevity of the device, but you can't deny the fact that this is actually a very innovative design. Not to mention, it gives you room for all this screen and no notch, which we saw way too much of in 2018. Now, when it comes to unique tech for 2018, there's no way we can't mention the Apple Watch Series 4. Now, not necessarily the Apple Watch itself, but the ECG technology that Apple put inside. And for those of you who aren't familiar, the ECG records an electrocardiogram, which basically represents the electrical pulses that make your heart beat. So now the Apple Watch Series 4 can read your electrical pulses using the crystal that's under the watch itself, as well as your finger on the actual crown. And with this, it is going to be able to detect your heart rate and then let you know if you're possibly in AFib. An AFib basically means having an irregular heartbeat. It doesn't tell you if you're having a stroke or a heart attack, but being in AFib is a symptom of having a stroke or heart attack, but the Apple Watch itself does not detect those things. Let's be very clear about that. Now, for me, this is really unique and cool because now consumers have access to this information and they can share it with their doctors and get the kind of help they need if they find that they're in AFib. But where this really hits home for me is I feel like this is something I want to give my parents who are a little bit on the older side as a precaution, just in case anything comes up. It doesn't hurt to have something like this to help monitor your heartbeat and make sure that everything's okay. So I personally think that this is a game changer, and the more people that end up having this, the more lives that could potentially be saved. And last on our list for unique pieces of tech this year is actually from another game maker, and that's Nintendo. So Nintendo created the Nintendo Labo, which is a really cool and interesting way for kids to do a little bit more outside of just playing with their console. So this whole thing becomes a project for kids. Some can take as long as 10 minutes to make or 2 hours. So if you've been looking for your kid to go ahead and do something that's more than stay behind a screen, you can at least get them in the process of making one of these things to at least interact with their Switch. So this is a nice creative way for them to do a bit more than sit behind a screen and mash some buttons. There are tons of different inputs. Ari, pass me that Labo with the giant robot. Look at this, guys. So something like this, the kids can create this suit where they can like walk around and act like a robot. I think this is really cool and innovative, especially since it allows them to still play a game while being physical. And that's something Nintendo's always been about. Now, the most basic version we've got right here is actually an RC car. So we just threw the Joy-Cons into this cardboard piece, and check this out, guys. We can actually control it like it's an RC car. We going, guys. I think that's cool. Oh, now can I turn it around though? Yeah, it's loud though. It's really loud. It's pretty much like Legos, but for the Nintendo Switch. I think that's a really awesome concept. But that about wraps it up for this video, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Lots of awesome, unique tech that we saw in 2018. Let me know what your favorite was, or if you have anything different that you would put on a list. But let me know with a comment down below. Till next video, guys, it's your average consumer. Peace. Peace.